welcome to our Modeling Photosynthesis and Cellular Respiration Lab. So I'm going to run through this lab. You should have open your questions. So make sure that you have this open. This is your Modeling Photosynthesis and Cellular Respiration questions. You need to be answering these as I'm doing the lab, and then this will go into your notebook. All right, so let's go ahead and look around the room and see what we have. So the first one we're going to be modeling is photosynthesis. And so, of course, we're going to be in a leaf, okay? So this is going to be here. This table down here, this will be my leaf. So this is my sugar molecule. And notice I have the different elements labeled. And it's C6H12O6, and I have 6 carbons, 12 hydrogens, and 6 oxygens. This will be my leaf here, okay? Then I also have the sun, because what do we need here? And we have some energy little molecules, okay? I also have my stomata of my leaf here, because this whole table is my leaf. And so this is how, of course, we get carbon dioxide in. And then the last thing, of course, that we need for photosynthesis is going to be my water over here by my stem. And so you can't really see this. I'm going to go ahead and pull this off. But notice I have here, it says stem. So this is going to be my stem. Maybe if I put it right there. There we go. There you go. And that's going to be my stem here. And my water is there. All right. So let's go ahead and look at a couple of your questions here on your lab. The first one says, what do plants need to be able to perform photosynthesis? So we've went over photosynthesis here in class. So what are the things I just showed you, right, that we are going to need for the plant to do photosynthesis? Next is, from where do plants obtain carbon dioxide, CO2? So notice, if you remember, that carbon dioxide comes through the bottom of the leaf through those stomatas, and those stomatas can open and close to let our carbon dioxide, CO2, out again. And also to remind you, remember, we have different things here. Each one of these is an element. Together they make a molecule, and that's why they're in one, because they're all bonded together, okay? And so it goes through the stomata, which is at the bottom of the leaf, which can open and close to let that carbon dioxide in. And then you can see, let's look. Next one says, how many carbon dioxide molecules am I going to need? Remember, our carbon is only here in carbon dioxide. So we have in our leaf here, remember I just said we had 6 carbons here. So if carbon's only going to come from our carbon dioxide, how many little frames of carbon dioxide am I going to need? Okay, if I need 6 carbons, and each carbon dioxide frame has 1 carbon in it, okay? And then how many water molecules am I going to need? Let's look at our frame again. So water, okay, has H, hydrogen, and oxygen. And so we need both. And so here in our sugar molecule, notice here we have 12 hydrogens. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And all of those have to come from our water because carbon dioxide doesn't have hydrogen. So if I have 2 hydrogens, I'll show you here. This is my water molecule, right? If I have 2 hydrogens in each one, how many of these frames am I going to need? Remember, this one frame is a molecule. So how many molecules of hydrogen or of water am I going to need if I need 12 hydrogen? Okay. All right, your next question is, where did the oxygen that plants produce come from? And we'll see that as we go. Think about which ones have oxygen. How are we getting rid of it? Okay. And then how did the oxygen produced during photosynthesis get out of the cell? And where did it go? So you're going to see that as we build our sugar molecule. And after photosynthesis occurs, is the outside air, the cell, any different than it was before? And explain. And then there's one question on the back. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. Now, one thing I want you to remember is that we need energy from the sun to actually break apart the bonds in carbon dioxide and water so we can use just the elements themselves or the atoms themselves. And then, remember, plants convert that light energy into chemical energy. And you're going to see as I start to build my sugar molecule that you're going to see me change that energy. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so I'm going to point my camera down here at my leaf. We're going to make one sugar molecule here. Okay, make sure you guys can kind of see. Hopefully you can start seeing it. And the first thing I'm going to do is it's going to bring in carbon dioxide from over here. But every time we break the bonds, we need to add energy. So we're going to need our energy token. So we're going to come in here, okay? And we're going to have somewhere to put it. We can have, oh, I lost that one. Carbon, and we're going to need some oxygen as well, okay? Because we need some 6 oxygen. So notice now I have 1 carbon and 2 of my oxygens and this carbon dioxide is all used up. Now I broke a bond. So now what has to happen then is every bond that gets formed then gets changed into, and it takes energy and it stores energy into a triangle, which we're going to call chemical energy, and it goes underneath each one. So we're going to need 1 underneath each atom. So we have to, every time we break a bond, we need to add some energy. See if I can get this one folded. And then we're going to store that energy in each of the bonds that are formed, okay? I'm not that great at making squares apparently, but it will work. So now I have energy formed in each of these bonds, this carbon to this oxygen, and we're going to get some more. But we need more carbon, so we better get our next one. This is our second carbon dioxide frame. And we can also pull out the oxygen. Now we broke the bonds. Now we need to make our energy. So we used, okay, and then we'll put that over underneath. And we're going to put this underneath because now we have to make it into chemical energy. Okay, and one more. Each one that has a bond, or each atom that is there, needs to be storing some energy there in glucose. That's how we make our ATP. But we're still not full with our carbon dioxide, our carbon. So now we need another one. This will be our third carbon dioxide. Notice now, okay, we will be just about full of oxygens, but some of the oxygens they don't all come from carbon dioxide. So we have to leave some oxygens in because oxygen can also come from water. So as I counted, and we're going to count how many frames I had here of carbon dioxide that I used, okay? I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 frames of carbon dioxide had to be used to get all 6 of my carbons. And of course now, I'm going to also, and I'm just going to stick it in there now with my, be a little easier every time I pick this up. My ping pong balls are going everywhere. But each one has now taken some light energy, converted it to chemical energy to make these bonds, okay, in glucose, okay? And actually, I think it's easier on here if we all see all of these kind of sitting up. So I'm going to pull these out from underneath my other chemical energy just so that we can see them a little easier on the camera, okay? All right, so we have that, but now we're still missing our hydrogens. So our hydrogens come from where? They come from water. All right, so let's go grab some waters and see how many we need. So I'm gonna grab my first water. I'm going to grab 3 of these. 2, 3. Let's see if that's enough. Let's go back to our sugar molecule and see if we have enough. Okay, back to our sugar molecule in our leaf. Okay, notice I'm missing an oxygen because some of the oxygen that comes is going to be from water. Okay, so there we go. Okay, now we broke our bonds. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead. Got to add our energy. Remember, every time we break a bond, we convert lights. We have to use energy to break it. And then we can save that energy because energy cannot be created or destroyed in the new bonds that we make. Okay, but my hydrogens still aren't full. So let's go again. I don't need any more oxygen there. So I'm going to leave the oxygen there. And I'm just going to take my hydrogens. Okay, and now I just have oxygen left over. Okay, so now, and then I'm going to use my 3rd water molecule. Let's see if we've got all of our hydrogens we need then. Okay, and I'm left with 1 oxygen. I'll set that to the side for now. I broke some bonds, so I need to convert my sun energy, okay, into chemical energy. But I'm still missing on the other side 6 more hydrogens. So I'm going to go back. I'm going to grab 3 more. So this will be the 4th water molecule, the 5th water molecule, and 6. Let's see if 6 is enough. Okay, here we go. I'll put hydrogen here, and I need another hydrogen there. Oxygen was left over. I'm going to need a hydrogen here and a hydrogen here. Still not full, but I have a lot of oxygen. And, oh, there we go. We got all of our hydrogen in. And so now we have to make sure that we convert our energy, our sun energy. We broke those bonds. Each of them need to store some energy. So we better get our chemical energy made. There we go. Chemical energy has to be made. Uh-oh. Energy's popping out. Okay. Each one has to have stored energy. That's how we make that ATP molecule in photosynthesis that everybody needs to be there. All right. Looks like we've got a full sugar molecule. Woohoo! We finally made that 1 sugar. And we had to use 6 molecules of carbon dioxide and 6 molecules of water to do it. But now I have all these oxygens left over. So now we have to get rid of it. We don't need oxygen. We don't need this much. So this oxygen actually gets sent and they start making bonds with each other, okay? And they don't convert the energy because the energy is just stays the same, okay? And so now I have, see how many oxygen molecules I am going to make. Okay, I got it. Everything's, all the elements and the atoms have to go somewhere. We can't just have them hanging out. They've got to go somewhere. So I'm going to make oxygen molecules, which is O2, until I don't have any more oxygen. Okay, and then we'll see how many we made. Okay. So I keep going. I still got some ping pong balls left here. Keep going. Looks like I got 3 more to make. 3 more to put in somewhere. They got to go somewhere. We have to have, atoms cannot be, destroyed. They have to go somewhere. Matter has to. And I have a total, when I'm all done, 6 oxygen molecules are left over. And now I don't have any more ping pong balls in any of my other egg cartons. And what happens now is the oxygen molecule goes back to the stomata and it actually leaves the leaf through those stomatas, leaves and goes away out into the air. Okay. All right, so you guys hopefully saw how many of those molecules we need to make 1 sugar molecule. We needed 6 waters and 6 carbon dioxides. And then we made 6 more molecules of oxygen, okay? So you should be able to answer all the way out through number 8, especially after photosynthesis occurs. Is the air outside the cell any different than it was before? Well, we brought carbon dioxide in and we added more oxygen. So is that different? And how does that happen? Okay. Now we're going to move on to, guess what? Cellular respiration. But before we get there, notice on number 12, it says write out the balanced equations for photosynthesis and cellular respiration. Remember, we used 6 water, 6 H2O, plus 6 carbon dioxide, 6 CO2, and then yields, that's what that little line, the little arrow means, yields 1 sugar, which is C6H12O6, plus 6 oxygens, 6 O2. And that, as you write it, is the full equation for photosynthesis. Okay? All right, so give me a second. I'm going to go ahead and set up for that cellular respiration part. I'll be right back. All right, welcome back. So here we are. We're going to now model cellular respiration. So if you remember, when we finished photosynthesis, we had 6 molecules of oxygen that were released out into the air. We had 1 molecule of sugar or glucose, and that was it. Well, now we're going to start with cellular respiration, and I want you to take a look at what we're starting with. So we ended with 6 molecules of oxygen and 1 molecule of sugar. This time, we're starting with 1 molecule of sugar and 6 molecules of oxygen from our lungs. So just imagine, okay, you are sitting at the table, you're hungry, or any animal. And so that leaf that we just saw, we'll say it was lettuce. And now what happens? Now we're going to eat it. And that all that glucose or sugar that leaf just made, now we're going to take in. And now we're going to make energy to make our brains work, our muscles work, and everything. So how the heck do we do that? All right, let's go take a look. All right, here we are. Here's our glucose molecule, and notice it has all that stored energy and chemical energy there. And we're going to need that to make our ATP. But to make food, we need to eat it. So we ate our leaf, lettuce, yummy, yummy, yummy. And now our body's going to start to break it down. But we need to break it down so we can release all this energy to make that ATP to make our body work. So let's see how many molecules of everything we need. So we started with 6 molecules of oxygen. There it is. It's coming in. And 1 molecule of sugar. So that is our reactants for cellular respiration. 6 O2 plus 1 C6H12O6. Now we're going to break this apart. And I have my frames here of carbon dioxide and water. So I wonder how many I'm going to need to go ahead and break this down. All right, here we go. We're going to start releasing this energy, okay? And it's going to go into our bodies. And here's my hydrogens. I'm going to take out my hydrogens. There we go. I got to place them into water, take out all this energy. We're going to take this energy. That's how we're going to go make ATP. As we start breaking these bonds, it starts releasing energy. It does not change it. Cellular respiration does not change it from chemical energy. We use it as chemical energy to make other bonds, okay? So here we go. So I got all those hydrogens out. Now I have 6 oxygens. Where can I put them? Well, I can put them in my CO2 frames, carbon dioxide frames, okay? Here we go. Oxygens are almost out, at least from our sugar. But we're also taking in 6 oxygens over there. Okay. Now here's my carbon dioxide. My carbon's coming out of my sugar. Okay. Coming out. Coming out. All that energy is now gone. It's now into our bodies. It's starting to make all that ATP more hydrogen. We're going to go make those drop our hydrogens into water. Okay, looks like we had space for all those hydrogens. But I also took in 6 molecules of oxygen. Okay, so they got to go somewhere. So now from my lungs, I'm going to take my 6 oxygen and I'm going to start placing them in where they might need to go. Okay, there's that first one. Let's see how many of these molecules we can make up. Go. All right. 6 more oxygens here to go. Okay, 1 more molecule of oxygen before they're all gone. Okay, and everything's broken down. So once I break down my glucose, I actually end up with, let's go take a look. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 molecules of carbon dioxide. And that carbon dioxide is a gas and actually gets released through our lungs as we leave. So that is our first product, 6 CO2. Therefore, your equation. The other stuff we got made was water. We have water molecules. See how many we made of water? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. There's our 6 water molecules, and those are all here, and that's what comes out when we broke those bonds and we had all this energy over here. All this chemical energy from that glucose came to make ATP. What do we do with this? Well, this is water. We can't breathe it out through our lungs. So actually, we go ahead and leave it through our kidneys and we pee that water completely out. And now we have made all the ATP we need for our body to start working from 1 glucose molecule. Not everything. We break down a lot of glucose molecules from the plant that we ate. So the overall equation for cellular respiration is 6O2 plus 1 C6H12O2 will yield, and that's that little arrow line, 6 CO2s plus 6 H2Os. And I want you to start comparing. What is the same about the reaction you just wrote down for cellular respiration and photosynthesis? I want you to see if there's a pattern there. You might see that they are backwards of each other and that they work in a whole circular pattern. All right, so you should be able to go back here to your questions for 10, 11, and 12. You should have all the balanced equations. I've said them a few times for photosynthesis and cellular respiration. And then, of course, number 9 says plants make their own sugar to food. Where did we get the sugar to break down for cellular respiration? We just did. And then when modeling cellular respiration, what did you find that you needed to help you break down the sugar molecule? Okay. And what did we add to it? We had sugar. And what other molecule did we use to help break down that sugar molecule? What did we breathe in? And then how do animals obtain the substance? You are a type of animal. How would you obtain it? The oxygen. And then to break down your sugar molecule, you needed to collect empty frames to fill. How many of each type of frame did you use to fully break down your sugar molecule? So I hope from your cellular respiration here, you see how many frames of water and how many frames of carbon dioxide that we had to use. All right, well, that is our modeling cellular respiration lab. If you have any questions, let me know. Bye.